Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another webinar. This time we'll be specifically talking about future markets which are there currently, how the market will be there in next week. So let's look at few of the things, which is the Nifty trend line. Right. This is the weekly chart. Now, if you overall see the weekly chart, it has been more of into a downtrend, right? So we'll see one by one the weekly charts, how they are and what has been happening through that. So first is, as we see that, okay, the weekly trend more of Nifty trend currently at this stage has been more of into a downtrend part. So the highs which was the previous high, this high, if we take this together with this high, it has rejected the high part from there and it has started coming down further gradually. So it is like 1, 2, 3 weeks of continuing downtrend. And if you see for this week also, this has been closed below the previous closing levels. So this week also it was in a negative part, right? So this is how the Nifty trend looks. Overall, it looks bearish. Last 2 week trend, that is 10th April and 25th April. Let's try to see that on our Telegram channel. So what we saw is on the previous Telegram channel discussion that we had, right? First of all, as we told over here, yep, that we had an evening star. That was the first negative part which was there on weekly chart. Second is it has closed below the 0.236 levels of the complete range. So this is a zero part and this is the one part. So if you case this complete range which is there, this was coming to 0.236 and it has closed on weekly basis below that. So we saw that after closing on an evening star, we got almost 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks of continuous downtrend which is there, right? So that is the first part. As we told, trend line resistance is there, evening star is there, resistance at 0.236 levels. So this was strong resistance overall, and Nifty was looking overall bearish from that part, right? Apart from that, if you look especially onto the daily trend, especially for that week, right? So it was like it has created a range which was from 0 to 1 part or 1 to 0. Either way it is there. It has taken a resistance exactly at the 50% level which was there, right? So it took resistance and after that it started moving down. So this is what happened, and we are actually told during those weeks, especially on 10th of April, before the market, or probably in the evening time, that okay, it will be further going down. So it started moving down further on those things, slowly and gradually, one by one. And this is how the market has been moving down further. So it took resistance from here, it took the support, and then further it did move down one by one, right? After that, the next week, which was there, probably it has taken a support at the 120 days part, right? So it took a support on 19th when it had completed 120 days. And from there, it had been moving up gradually. But let's see how the market would be moving down further. Right. So 10th week, as per 10th week, yes, for 10th of April, which was there, it did move down and it, after creating a range, it did cross the 1.272 level, 1.618 level, and it touched exactly the 2.618 level. So from there, it has reversed, and this happened on 19th of April, which we have seen in the last video also. After this, we have seen various comparisons which are there. They should be there. So probably this was for Nifty, the weekly chart. Here we saw the resistance which are there. So for first week, second week, third week, it was continuously coming down. So 3 weeks of continuing downtrend which was been viewed. And this is a comparison which was there with Dow Jones, especially for the weekly part. So we were expecting a similar kind of candle because in Dow Jones, we had seen a double top which had happened, right? So I was expecting something similar, and which I've already explained in yesterday's video. You can go through that to find out the exact details, right? Apart from that, let's come down to the daily candles also. Right now, if you see in the daily candles which is there yesterday, that is on Friday, there was a bearish engulfing candle. Right now, if you try to see what has happened in the bearish engulfing candles till now, let's go to the weekly daily candles, right? So everywhere on the top side, wherever you have seen a bearish engulfing candle, yes, the market has that come down. Right here, you have seen a bearish engulfing candle, and the market did come down. Here at the top, you see your bearish engulfing candle. The market did come down. The market did come down. Here it was at the top part, but certainly not more of a bearish engulfing candle. But yes, it started moving up further from there. And today again, we see a bearish engulfing candle. This is not exactly at the top part, but the critical part is it is at the 50% range, overall 50% range that is there. And the closing of weekly was also below the 0.5 level. So there are chances that the market would be coming down further gradually, right? And apart from that, if you see Dow Jones also, it was shown similar candles that we'll see into the international market when we see about the international market, how that is there. So what we see is, especially the last 2 weeks has been more of into the downtrend rather than last 4 weeks had been especially more of into the downtrend. The closings has been below the last week's closing. So it clearly says that, okay, we are in a downtrend until unless it takes some support and starts moving up further, we will be further moving down. Daily trend and candles actually see, yes, uh, every daily candle which has been happening, yes. For example, if you see over here, it has taken a support on 19th of April. It did move up. It created a range, gave us a reversal. Again, it started going up, created a resistance or took a support about 0.5. But it next day, it did open with a gap down and try to take support at again 0.236 level. So this is showing that, okay, probably the market is taking support at this 0.236 level, right? Again, on Thursday, yes, we had a bullish candle and I was expecting that it would be further moving up, but it didn't go up. What happened is it just closed above the previous high. And then we had a bearish engulfing candle on Friday. So let's see. Hopefully, I am expecting that the market would be going down further. That's why I've already taken a trade, a small risk which was been taken. This is with a P for 16,500, so that I get at least 100 points of variations with a smaller stop loss. And the strike price which we got, this is specifically only for next week, not more than that. And the strike price which is there was almost 18.9. So it would be a very small stop loss, not a major risk as such. But I see that because of the type of candles which have been created, this should be very positive. Let's see how it opens. And this was not only the reasons, but also Dow Jones and rest of the things were also very negative, right? Of course, when the market did close at that time, Dow Jones was looking positive, but the yesterday's candle which was been formed on Friday, that was a negative candle, which did happen afterwards. But the main reason for taking this trade was the bearish engulfing part, right? So let's try to take a look at certain stocks also. Let's say, for example, HDFC twins, which are there, and Reliance, so that we are trying to assess the impact which is there. If you look at HDFC, which is there, right? Now, HDFC, what has happened in HDFC is, right, we had a top, it went down, it created a complete range, it went up, and it created a double top, right? Now, whenever we see that, okay, double top is being formed, the stock generally does come down until unless it takes a support at the 50% level and moves up. Then a cup and handle is being formed. But here a double top was being formed, the market started gradually moving down, right? So if you see, it was a very steep fall altogether, and it is now taking a support at the bottom part, which is there, right? So this is probably looking at from the daily perspective. If we look from the weekly perspective, right? Let me show you the weekly perspective also, right? So what has happened now currently at this part is, so this is the zero, which is the bottom of March 2020. So that is the last bull start of bull run which was there, right? From there, the top bed that we had currently, right? That was there. And if you see currently, the market has come down almost till this 0.5 level. So that does specify that, okay, we are more of into a bear trend, right? So generally, market doesn't come down that much drastically, but we are expecting that, okay, it should be coming down to almost 0.5%, or it may go down further till 0.236 level also. So this is the levels that I should be expecting from my side, right? Because it's almost like since last 4 months we are more of into a downtrend. So maybe more 6 months we should be into that range only, either taking a support at this level or this level. Let's see how it goes. Until unless the market takes support, I'm not going to go for long, right? So this is in HDFC Bank. Let's try to see for, let me first of all see this chart. HDFC. We saw this in HDFC Bank. Let's try to see this in FDSG also, how it has been going, right? So HDFC also almost similar thing happened. It created a range, came down almost to 0.76 level or the previous top which was there, tried to cross that, but it was not able to cross and it came down further, right? So this is more of on the daily part, right? Again, a range has been created. It went up, trying to come down, or maybe trying to take a support, but still the market is below 0.236 level of the range. So maybe chances are high that it should be coming down further, right? And if I see on the weekly chart again, starting with the low of of March 2020. So this is the low which is there, and this is the current high, right? If I check out altogether, it has crossed the 0.5 level line. So this is somewhere around the 0.5 level line. It has already crossed that, and the level is 224.27, and yesterday's closing had been below that level, that is 2229, which more of seems like a negative part. And if I go further, probably this should be my level of entry as per the market which is there, because this stock especially looks that okay, we are more of into a bear trend gradually. So this should be this support has already been broken. This is the next support that we have. So probably if we take support somewhere around at this part, this should be happening. Let's take a look at also Reliance. Now I have selected Nifty Twinsies, HDFC Twinsies, because it has already created a double top and it has drastically come down. Let's try to take a look at Reliance also. What has been happening in Reliance, right? Let's take a look at the weekly chart first of all, and then go to daily chart, right? Weekly chart, if you see, yes, it has taken a good support. It went up. Probably it has just taken out the previous high also, right? Now, what has been happening with Reliance is, if you see especially, yes, it has broken this previous low which was there. Reliance always has a tendency that it generally breaks the previous low and then it starts moving up, right? Again, if you see over here, this was the low. The low was somewhere around 1835 and it went up to 1830 and then it started moving up. It generally happens with Reliance. I especially remember about this part. Why? Because I had kept my stop loss somewhere around at this point, maybe the low, which was 1855, and it moved till 1830. And it has taken my stop loss, and after that, it started moving up. Of course, I did take an entry again somewhere around at this level, right? And it went up, right? But with Reliance, it is a very risky stocks in means like it generally hits or maybe takes the previous low. As I showed you over here, it takes the low or the high which is there and then starts moving in the opposite direction. Again, same thing, it did take the high, went down. Again, over here, the same thing is there. Now, if we look at the trend, the overall trend for weekly, it is very bullish. The moving average which has been shown, this is bullish. So probably every time it has been closing zone above that, right? So this is more of on the weekly chart. Weekly, it's look bullish. The RSI looks a bit weak. Same is there with MACD also. Let's try to check how is the daily chart. So this is the daily chart for D, right? Now let's look at this specific part, right? Now see, this was the low which is there that has been designated with this green line, right? So here it has been taking a support, but the low has already been taken off and it started moving up. That is the first part, right? If I check in terms of RSI, yes, it has been taking good support, just went up, probably broken that previous low and then took a support and started moving up, right? And if I check in terms of MACD, yes, MACD, it purely shown a very good divergence, a bullish divergence. So it took a support and then started moving up. So probably if anyone had identified this bullish divergence, it was good. Probably you would have been able to trade a good amount of rally till now, right? But again, if I say or check probably into the daily part, yes, the moving average which is there, that is specifically bullish. But the only thing which has happened is yesterday, that is on Friday, it has created a candle which specifies that it would be moving down. The candle is bearish engulfing. So whenever there has been bearish engulfing, especially in, let's see how it has been there, right? So this is a part where it was been bearish engulfing. Again, this is on the top part and it had come down. Here it had not given an exact bearish engulfing. But again, at this top part, yes, there was a bearish engulfing and the market did gradually come down, right? And again, we have a bearish engulfing, which is at the top part. So two scenarios are there. If you look overall, that market or maybe Reliance generally takes out the low of the previous low and then it starts moving up. And at times it takes out your previous highs also and then it starts moving down. So either way, if you look at this instance or maybe probably at this instance, the same thing has been happened. Here again, the same conditions may happen because like as I showed for HDFC twins, both had moved down drastically. Now, if Reliance takes a support, it has the capacity to take Nifty up further, right? But it depends on the movement. As of now, at this stage, probably because of the candlestick which has been formed, I am not very positive about Reliance. Let's see next week if it is able to break the high which has been formed, that is 1828.56. If it breaks that, probably I'll be able to say that Nifty would start moving up further from here. But at this stage, yes, this is a mixed one because of the candlestick which has been formed in daily, that is bearish engulfing. The moving average is positive. So overall, the long term looks to be positive. But because of the candlestick which has been formed and what we have as a chart pattern from the previous candles, even if it was positive, it started moving down, right? So let's not try to take risk further on that part until unless we get some clear directions further on that part, right? Let's try to have a look across the international markets also. Let's say, for example, Dow Jones, which is there. Now, if I check at Dow Jones, probably a similar kind of pattern which was being seen previously, right? For example, like, yes, a top was being formed, which was again there in Nifty also. It did came down. Again, it took out the top of the previous one. Just as I was just explaining about Reliance, right? It took out the previous top and then it started moving down gradually. But again, it has given us a very clear indication. It had created a range, went up, didn't move further, and then it started moving down. Again, if you look in terms of candlestick pattern, which is there, it was a bearish engulfing plus a double top. So it was very strong and did come down drastically, right? So again, if you look at the trend, yes, this is negative, and the overall range which was been created from this 0 to the one of the bottom, it had crossed the 0.5 level and come down to almost 0.76 level. Now, if it crosses further, probably we'll be able to see more further downtrend and a quick fall further. Depends how it goes altogether. Let's not try to predict the market, but go with the market. So what I've done from my side, as I told you, is I've taken already a strike price, which is 16,500. And let's see if the market opens negative, probably I'll try to keep it for a week's time. And depending on the market scenario which is there, if in next 2 days if it is not able to move further down, probably not a big loss or not a big profit, but yes, that's how overall it runs. So that was about Dow Jones. Second is about Bitcoin especially I'm taking. Why? Because there are few clients, you can say, who had been discussing with me about Bitcoins, right? So Bitcoin, again, if you see, there was a huge high, then the market did fall down further, and people were very positive about that. Again, the same thing did happen. It crossed the previous high, and then from here again it dropped down. It is now taking the support above the previous lows which is there. For example, yes, this is the low which has been created. It took a support, it went up from there. It didn't cross the previous high. It especially didn't cross the previous 50% range. So it looks more of on the negative side, right? Again, it didn't cross the 0.236 level. It is moving down further. Now, until unless we have a bullish engulfing candle somewhere around here, we cannot ensure that the market will be going up further. Let's see how it goes. So that's about overall Nifty. Nifty, as I told you, current trend is looking negative overall because last 4 weeks it has been, the closings has been below the previous week's closing. That is the first part. Daily we have a bearish engulfing candle which has been formed. Same is there in Reliance also. HDFC twins are already negative, so the market looks more of a negative part. Dow Jones has also been negative. Yesterday it closed on a negative part, as I told you. And this closing was below this 0.76 level, right? And my idea was taking at the strike price of 16,500 is very simple. Again, if Dow Jones has come down to the level of 0.236, I am thinking that, okay, Nifty should also be going at a level of somewhere around 0.76. And if it goes that, probably it should be just below this 16,500 level. So that's why my strike price of 16,500 has been selected. It goes below that, probably it should be adding some more profits into my kitty. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Again, my humble request to everyone is please do join the Unit of Technical Analysis Telegram channel. The link is been shown over here, Unit of Technical Analysis. If you just type on Telegram, you'll be able to find that. Whoever are there on Telegram but has not subscribed to our YouTube channel, my humble request is please do join this channel. The name of the channel on YouTube is Unit of Technical Analysis for Trading. So if you just type across in YouTube, you'll be able to get the details. Please subscribe to the channel. That is my first request. And second is also do like the videos. And please do place your comments, any small or whatever things are there. Thank you, thumbs up or something like that, because YouTube does identify you on the basis of the comments which are there, the likes which are there, and the subscriptions which are there. Okay, thank you so much. If you have your doubts, please do raise your doubts accordingly and we'll take things further. Thank you.